Hey you guys, welcome back. Today we're going to go over solving for a missing angle. Before we do that though, fact number 61 about me. The place I want to visit more than anywhere in the world, and I still haven't yet, but it's the top of my list, is Italy. Okay? Some of you guys have been there and have told me all about it. It sounds even better. It's been my dream vacation, my dream destination to go. I mean, for as long as I can remember, and even crazier in college. So everyone has to take a foreign language in college, and you get to pick your foreign language. I went to UGA, and they had, I mean, every language you could think of to take classes in, which is amazing. I took Italian because I was hoping at some point in college I would do a study abroad program and get to go over to Italy. It didn't pan out. Whatever is what it is. But I got to take Italian, and the only issue is that when you don't use a foreign language, you do kind of lose it. You kind of forget it because you're not using it all the time. So I don't really remember a lot of it, but I think if I went and restudied, I'd probably pick up a good bit of it at least pretty quickly. So that's where I want to go more than anywhere in the world. I just want to go and live over there and stay over there and eat pasta all day and pizza all day. It is my dream place to go. So anyway, let's get back to the math. Looking at this, we're going to go and solve for different types of angles that are missing. So let me get the pen activated. There we go. So first of all, just to recap, supplementary angles have a sum. And remember, sum, S-U-M, is the answer to an addition problem. So supplementary angles have a sum of 180 degrees. Complementary angles have a sum, again, the answer to an addition problem, of 90 degrees. So when we add supplementary angles together, we get 180 degrees. When we add complementary angles, we get 90 degrees. So those are two things you kind of just have to memorize. It is what it is. You know, a few things I've heard over the years to help you memorize it. Complementary has one letter P in there, and that's kind of like representing 90 degrees. Supplementary has two. So it's kind of representing like two 90 degrees, right? Which would add to give you 180. I like that one. That's pretty good, I think. Another one I heard recently this year was someone had written out the words complementary. They abbreviated COMP, and then they wrote the word supplementary, or the abbreviation SUPP. And then they said that complementary, it's kind of like you could take the C right there, add a line down, and it kind of looks like 90 degrees. I thought that was pretty clever. Then over here on supplementary, they said you could kind of turn that S into an 8, that U into a 0, and then add a 1 out in front. That looks like 180. All right, so a couple things that I like. I think those are kind of helpful, kind of creative, kind of cool ways to think about that. All right, regardless, we have to remember supplementary angles add to 180, complementary add to 90, because that's going to help us out here. So let's go and find these missing angles. So we have a right angle here. We know that red box represents a right angle, and right angles are 90 degrees. So we have B right here. We don't know that missing side right there, or that missing angle right there. We know the other one's 29. Now, a lot of you guys are really smart. You could probably just look at this and tell that if these are supposed to add to 90 degrees because they're complementary, we could probably tell that the missing piece is just, is it 61? Yeah, that's right, 61. But we have to go and write an equation to represent that. And the most important part of that is because these things are going to get harder. These are probably the simplest ones that we'll do, so they'll get a little more complicated as we go. So let's look and see what an equation should look like. An equation that we want to have should have a variable, all right? We're going to use the variable that we started with in the problem. We have b, all right? Now these are complementary angles, meaning that when I add these two up, they equal 90. So let's look and see how easy this is. B plus 29, because again, when I add them up, they equal 90. B plus 29 equals 90. All right? It's like how we would say it is how we write the equation, which is great. So now this is just a one-step equation that we've been doing for a long time now. So I'm going to go and solve for B. I'm going to subtract 29 on both sides. Subtract, subtract, and B is equal to 90 minus 29 gives us 61. 61 degrees. Perfect. And then you can always double check your work. Go and make sure that 61 plus 29 add up to 90, and they do. So we're good to go. Let's look at the next one. Now this is a straight line. We have this straight line going down here, all right? And it looks like we've split that line into two different angles. One is 35, and one is B right here. We're looking for that missing angle B. So these are supplementary angles because we have that straight line, and these two angles should add up to give us 180. Let me go back over here and label this as complementary, okay? The right angle knows it's complementary. This straight line reminds us that it's supplementary. So these are supposed to add together to give us 180 degrees. So 35 plus B should add up to give us 180 degrees. So we're going to set it equal to 180. Now, this is just an equation that we've been dealing with for a long time. We'll subtract 35 on both sides. Subtract 35. And we're left with b is equal to 180 minus 35 is 145. 145 degrees. And just to double check, you can always go and add whatever you get to whatever you were given, and it should give you 180 degrees because they're supplementary. Some kids were asking earlier if I had 35 plus b, could they also write b plus 35 equals 180? And you absolutely can. As long as we are adding, we can put it in any order we want. Subtract 35 on both sides, and you get the same thing. We're doing the same work. 180 minus 35, 180 minus 35. All right, now I'm going to give this an erase, and we're going to scroll down. Let's go look at the next one. Let's look at number 3 right here. Move that out of the way. All right, so number 3. It looks like we have a right angle, and we know because we have this red box right here. That tells us it's 90 degrees. So these are complementary angles. All right, we're dealing with the right angle here. So these have to be set equal to 90 degrees. And these two angles added together, b and 63. Oops, that's a b. There we go. b plus 63 is equal to 90 degrees. I should be able to add those up and get 90. So now let's go solve it. I'll subtract 63 on both sides, because now I'm just left with the variable b. 90 minus 63 is 27, so I'm left with 27 degrees. And then you could go and double check. If this one is 27, I better be able to add it to 63 and get 90, and I do. So that works out. All right, let's look at the next one. Now these are vertical angles. What's special about vertical angles is that they are directly across from each other. All right, they're not next to each other. And the best part about them is that they're equal. So you know what? At least for this problem right here, there's no type of equation to solve because b is equal to its vertical angle. So this is 43 degrees. If this one's 43, the one directly across from it is 43 too. So simple, all right? This one over here, we have a straight line. So these are going to represent supplementary angles. And supplementary angles add up to give us 180. So the letter b, that's our variable, plus 50 should add up and give us 180. Now, let's go and solve for b. I'll subtract 50 on both sides. I'll subtract 50 over here. And b is equal to 130 degrees. And just to double check, 130 plus 50 gives me 180. Yeah, it does, so I did it right. Good job. All right, let's look at the next one. Now this one has like a triangle over here, but don't let that throw you off because we're still dealing with this straight line right here. Remember, every straight line is 180 degrees. So these are supplementary angles that we're talking about. So these need to equal 180. And when I add them when I add those two up, we get 180. So 49 plus the variable b equals 180 degrees. I'll go and subtract 49 on both sides. Now I'm left with b is equal to 131. So I'll go and double check. 131 plus 49 gives me 180. Yep, I did it right. Let's look at number 7. So this is a right angle. I know because I had that little red box. So if we have a right angle that we're dealing with, those are complementary angles, and they should equal 90 degrees. Complementary. So let's go and add those up. 23 plus b, 23 plus b is equal to 90. When I add those two together, they should give me 90 degrees. So I'm going to go and subtract 23 from both sides. I'm left with b is equal to 67 degrees. And then just double check, I'll go and add them up. 67 plus 23, yep, that gives me 90. Now again, some of you might be wondering, I know we've had this question in class, why do we have to set up an equation? Because this is kind of basic math, right? Whatever is left to get me to 90 is the angle, the measure of this angle, right? It's going to get a little more difficult, especially in the next video that I'll post here in a minute. So we do have to know how to set up an equation so that we can actually solve some of these things because they get a little more complicated as we go. This one right here, once again, we're dealing with 90 degrees, all right? So these are complementary angles. So when I add these two together, they should give me 90 degrees. b plus 57 is equal to 90. I'll subtract 57 on both sides. And b is equal to 90 minus 57, which is 33 degrees. Go double check. 33 plus 57. Yep, we get 90. Excellent. All right, let's scroll down. Let me give that an erase. do these last couple right here, 9 and 10. Get the pen going. There we go. All right. Number 9, these are right. This is a right angle. There's our little red box. All right, right angle. So these are complementary. And complementary angles add up to give you 90 degrees. So I'm going to set it equal to 90. B plus 37, because when we add them up, we get 90. I'll go solve for B. Subtract 37 on both sides, minus 37. B is equal to 53 degrees. I'll go double check. 53 plus 37. Yep, we get 90. And this last one, this is a straight line. So that is supplementary angles. We're talking about angles that add up to 180. So I'm going to set it equal to 180. And then 76 plus B is going to give me 180 degrees. I'll subtract 76 on both sides. 76. B is equal to 180 minus 76, which is 100. No, wait. No, that's right, 104 degrees. There we go. Trying to do it in my head, which is not a problem. I just left my calculator over there on the table. So 104 degrees plus 76 would give you 180 degrees. So we're good to go. All right, that's the end of that. Thank you guys for sticking around for the whole video. I always appreciate it. I will see you guys in class tomorrow. Bye.